793-1071. Good morning. Welcome to the Voice of Freedom.
Well, good morning. I wanted to comment on Councilman Derrick McGary's article in the newspaper today. Yeah, he was actually going after the groups for where their support is coming from. The liquor stores or some of it from the liquor stores on the Arkansas side. But, I'm looking at that and listening to it, and where's his support coming from? People who want to sell liquor on the Texas side. I don't see the difference in support. So if you're going to question the motives of the people that are defending the neighborhoods, you have to question the motives of the person who wants to bring liquor into the neighborhoods. And his just a quote here from it. He said the Texarkana, let me see, the interest. They care more about the interest of the liquor stores than they do about protecting our communities or our youth. Well, he said they care more about the liquor stores than the community youth. That's kind of ridiculous. At least he recognized they do care about the community and the youth in his statement, but that's not really what he meant. But they didn't come together for the liquor stores. They came together because of the community of Texarkana and the sale of alcohol all around and near schools and such. I guess the question I'd have for Derrick McGary is, what's he doing for his own ward, Ward 1? What has he done there that's bettering the ward, and how is this liquor sales going to better his Ward 1? I don't really understand what he's doing or where he's coming from in all this, except to get more money for the city. And as I tend to think we ought to be looking at the city budget and how they're spending it and make sure they're spending it wisely and not just giving them more money to spend any way they'd like to.
Well, to me, the other thing that's part of the conversation, I believe, is that here we have, again, another person in politics in an elected position telling us that Christians are different than everybody else in the sense that, we have to watch who we take money from. We have to, okay, let's say I have a church. Would Mr. McGary like it if I went through that offering plate and made sure that every dollar bill was pure? That everybody that gave in that offering today in church, that they were pure, and then that they didn't have any affiliations with any kind of that they never drank a beer while watching a ball game. Because if they did, and I took money from them, now I'm a hypocrite.
Well, yeah, based on his article and his quotes, I guess he would, Jeff. He would. I guess he would expect churches to go through there and filter out the money as to who's giving what. And
so now he is throwing churches and religious organizations under the bus because we don't purify the money coming from givers. That a person who's had a history of being involved in some sort of crime can't give anymore. And let's go further. Let's take Jesus's. Since today's Good Friday, we can talk about this, I guess, openly. Yeah, right. We talk about this openly every day. But anyway, Jesus said, look, even if you even think about something that is not right, then you're basically wrong because he's trying to prove the heart motive behind everything. And so do we need to go through there and have the thought police come into churches, the motivation police come into churches and say, your motivation is not right. You've been involved in this. You've been thinking about that. So therefore, you can't give to churches. You can't give to religious organizations. It is an argument that is absolutely ridiculous. It will grab a headline, yes. But when you begin to analyze it, it is one, I believe, extremely prejudiced toward churches and toward Christians. It is to me a very desperate attempt for that side of the argument to try to get the attention away from the facts and get it on something like this.
Oh, I agree. And in fact, he went so far as to question the youth. They were at the youth rally. Did they know where the funding for their T-shirts came from? Well, why didn't he ask the question, why are they there in the first place? Was it to get a T-shirt? I don't think so. It's because of what was in their heart and what they believed about the sale of wine and beer in Texarkana. Yeah, McCurry's just apparently economically driven and is not looking at the whole picture and what is really good for the community. Again, I'd question, what's he doing in his own district, his own ward?
Oh, absolutely. And plus, you have to question his affiliation with evidently interests who want to bring alcohol in, because to me it looks as though he's very much tied into the Easy Mart bunch and all the other ones, all the big name businesses that want to bring liquor to the Texas side of Texarkana, Texas. And for someone who's involved in a position that he's involved in, that doesn't look so good to me.
Well, I attended the meeting at the Patriots where Derrick presented his case, and when questioned who was in his organization, he said, well, he's the treasurer, but he couldn't or wouldn't name anybody else. So at the time, it sounded like it was Derrick and Easy Mart that wanted to bring this to Texarkana.
And now we're learning that it's not just those two. Actually, the mayor of Texarkana, Steve Mayo, is affiliated with Progress Texarkana, which, again, as a resident, do you have any issues with the mayor and with a city councilman trying to influence legislation being brought to a vote?
I hadn't thought of it like that, but yes. I may have some issues with that. And actually, I'm wondering why this is even being brought up. It's not something that was driven by the citizens.
No, you're right.
The whole issue came up through Derrick McGary, as far as I know, to bring beer and wine sales to Texarkana. I didn't hear any citizens groups saying we needed this and this would be better for the city. It was just Derrick, and now joined by Steve Mayo.
Exactly. Excellent. Well, listen, thanks for the call this morning. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Have a great weekend.
You too.
It is 7:53, 7 minutes away from 8 o'clock, 903-793-1071, 903-793-1071. Give us a call. And, here's an example for you before we get off the Derrick McGary issue, basically saying that, with liquor stores giving to community builders, which is made up of churches and ministers, that it's wrong for that to happen. Well, let me give you an example here. I was involved in jail ministry for a number of years. The men that came to our services were so moved by what they heard, they enjoyed the message of freedom, the freedom that only Jesus Christ can give. They wanted to give. Because according the Bible talks about how that, and it's the right thing to do, that as you receive from a minister or ministry, that is only right to then give, as then you can promote the gospel and get it to other places. It just works. It's the right thing to do. It just makes sense. These men inside of this jail were giving into our ministry. Was that wrong? Was that wrong for them who have had a heart change to participate in giving the gospel to other people? Was that wrong? According to Mr. McGary, it was indeed. Good morning. Welcome to the Voice of Freedom.
Good morning, Jeff.
And what do you got to say about these issues this morning?
Well, Jeff, I've done some community projects, and the liquor store owners have supported those. And I want to say that most of these guys don't even drink. They're decent fellers, and they've got a business to protect, and it's only natural that they would protect it in that way with their economic interest.
Well, yeah, see, and that's something else that we hadn't even really got into yet, is the fact that if this thing passes on the Texas side, it completely, it will be devastating for the Arkansas side of Texarkana, Texas.
Sure, because our tax base on Arkansas side is very slim. It involves mostly liquor and a few other items,
Yeah, I mean, because I've heard it's almost like 50% actually is the amount of tax revenue derived from alcohol sales on the Arkansas side of the city.
Yeah, we took a look at that and tried to calculate it. The way the forms are reported, it's hard to just carve out the liquor and the beer and the wine that would be, replaced on the Texas side. But you're right; it's going to make a difference.
Wow.
But these liquor store owners are good guys. I'm telling you, I know most of all of them, and the reason I know them is because I work with them on community projects. And when I'm out there asking them for money for constitutions for the students, they're receptive to that.
But you shouldn't have done it, man, because now you're a hypocrite, according to Derrick McGary.
Well, I haven't espoused that position, but you're right in assuming that this is a political ploy, and I think people are going to see it for what it is, and they need to get out there and vote their conscience. It's going to be the Get Out the Vote campaign that's going to win this one, I believe, Jeff.
Excellent. Thanks, sir. Have a great weekend.
All right.